Up next on Connections, CTA customers test the CTA Train Tracker technology. We'll hear what they have to say about how it's working. We'll take a look at how the CTA is working through a tough economy and keeping infrastructure improvements on track. Do you know the story behind the tube on the IIT campus? We'll tell you how this iconic structure came to be built along the CTA Green Line. Plus, we'll tell you what you need to know about CTA service and the Revive Wacker Drive construction project. In Backtracks, we'll take a trip back in time and show you what passed for luxury on Chicago's public transit system in the 1920s. All that and some suggestions on how you can take the CTA to get out and play this winter. Coming up next on Connections. Hello, I'm Omar Barragan. Welcome to Connections. CTA's Train Tracker is gaining momentum. The beta test program was introduced in January, and customers are eagerly taking advantage of the new technology to get estimated times for train arrivals. CTA's Bus Tracker has proven itself a tremendous tool for bus customers. Now, customers can get estimated arrival times for trains too. The CTA has rolled out a test version of Train Tracker.
So what we're launching right now is a public beta test. It allows everyone to go and try out Train Tracker, see how it works for them, and let us know what they think so we can continue to make it better and better during this testing phase.
Like Bus Tracker, Train Tracker is available on any internet-enabled device, a computer, smartphone, iPad, or similar gadget. No matter what the device, Train Tracker is incredibly easy to use.
I'll select Train Tracker on my phone. And in this case, we'll open up Chicago on the Brown Line. So first, select your route, and then pick your station. Simple as that.
Those using a computer or mobile device can customize their information options.
You can view what trains are coming in the order that they're arriving. You can see them grouped by route if you're only concerned about one route, or you can also group train arrivals by platform direction.
While Bus Tracker involved developing a new system to gather bus data, CTA used an existing data system to create Train Tracker.
The success of the CTA Bus Tracker paved the way for the internal development of the CTA Train Tracker. The investment made in upgrading and improving the software that monitors the signal system also contributed to the development.
We have our train tracking system internally to run our railroad. And it's just basically our signal system uses track detection, tells us where the trains are at. We decided to take that data and modify it, massage it, and put it in a format where the public can receive it.
And there's no doubt CTA customers will use it.
If there's any one thing that people ask me about when they learn what I do at CTA is when is Train Tracker coming? So we're really excited to be able to bring this to people.
What do people think so far?
It's pretty good so far, yeah. I think it's been pretty reliable.
I really like it. It's easy to use, easily enough for me to now track when my train's coming. I don't have to walk to the platform and wait needlessly. I enjoy it, it's accurate, and it's been great for me.
It's very dependable. I would recommend it for people to use.
And it told me the train was coming in 1 minute, and now here's the train. Yay! Oh my God!
Because this is the initial beta testing phase, the CTA encourages users to make suggestions about how to make Train Tracker even better.
This is why we are telling customers that if you spot some inaccuracies, we want you to let us know. Customer feedback will assist our personnel in identifying ways to enhance and evolve CTA Train Tracker.
If you go to the Train Tracker website and click on Help and Notes, there's a feedback form that you can use to let us know what you think, because we really want to build this around what our customers need.
The Help and Notes section of the Train Tracker webpage allows customers to take a quick survey, or, if they like, write a more detailed note regarding their experiences with the service. Recent economic challenges have tested the CTA, but through cost-conscious management, the CTA is meeting its goals for infrastructure improvements while maintaining a balanced budget. Here's a look at recent accomplishments. The CTA entered 2011 with a balanced budget that maintains current fares and service levels. The agency looks to build upon its many 2010 achievements.
We've been managing very aggressively throughout 2010, and we're going to have to continue doing that throughout 2011.
Teamwork and creative resource management helped the CTA move forward at an impressive pace last year, despite the lack of capital funding. The year began with a celebration of the completion of the Brown Line Capacity Expansion Project.
This project is a good example how essential capital investment projects are to the economic growth and the development of our region.
The $530 million project expanded capacity along the line to help meet demand. It also made the Brown Line accessible to all CTA customers. Accessibility is a key provision of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The CTA marked the 20th anniversary of the Act by forming a task force to develop a plan to finance future accessibility initiatives.
As of today, 91 of 144 stations have either a ramp or an elevator to make it easy to access for people who are using a wheelchair or have mobility disabilities.
The Cermak Chinatown station will be the next accessible station. Construction to rebuild the entrance began last year. Federal stimulus funds were used to finance construction. The Chicago Department of Transportation also broke ground on the Morgan Street Green and Pink Line station in the busy West Loop community. It is the CTA's first new station in nearly a decade.
Projects like this are successful when elected officials, community, and CTA work together.
The Morgan Station is made possible by a partnership with the Chicago Department of Transportation. That same partnership made possible the construction currently underway to renovate the Grand Red Line station. A CTA corporate partnership is behind the refurbishing of the Red Line's North and Clybourne station. Apple financed the project as part of its construction of a new Apple store across from the station entrance.
Yeah, it's so much nicer than the old one. I mean, it's open, it's airy, and it's much easier to move around in.
It's a big difference. It looks a lot cleaner,
The new 5000 series prototype railcars began in-service testing in 2010. The new railcars are expected to replace trains that are up to 40 years old. And on the technology front?
We're also investing in multiple technology projects that will add value, ease customer use of the system, offer more and better information, and establish a safe environment.
Last year, the CTA met its goal of installing at least one high-definition camera at each of its 144 rail stations. More cameras will be added this year. Meanwhile, testing is underway to add cameras inside rail cars.
We're working on a pilot project to retrofit our existing fleet with cameras. And with support from a Department of Homeland Security grant, we have funding to get that project started.
The CTA continued to enhance its bus tracker service. Last year, instructions for Bus Tracker's two-way texting feature were posted on every bus stop sign in the service area. Goals were set and goals were met in 2010. And the agency will continue to work hard in 2011 to provide the best possible service for riders.
The goal is to continue working as a team to provide the best kind of service that we can to our customers.
In 2011, the CTA will continue to make the most of its resources to improve the experience for riders. It's one of the most unique pieces of architecture along the CTA system, and it is a signature structure on the Illinois Institute of Technology campus. It is the Exelon tube that encases a section of Green Line track above the McCormick Tribune Campus Center. The Exelon tube, a striking testament to human ingenuity. The 530-foot-long steel and concrete structure is the focal point of the Illinois Institute of Technology at 32nd and State. It incorporates the L tracks into the design and caps the 110,000-square-foot McCormick Tribune Campus Center, opened in 2003.
From the moment the design was revealed, people here on campus at least were just very intrigued to see it built. particularly the tube.
Rem Koolhaas of the Netherlands submitted the winning design in 1997 when IIT decided to build a new campus center.
We had envisioned a building that would have to sit on one or the other sides of the CTA tracks. And Koolhaas came up with the idea that the building would kind of slide underneath the tracks.
The tube's function was to muffle the sound of the Green Line trains as they pass over the building on approach to and departure from the 35th IIT Bronzeville station.
Well, I know when the design first came in, we in the engineering department were very impressed with it. Not only the campus center, but the enclosure, the tube that would go around our elevated tracks.
But there were some concerns. The original design called for a totally enclosed structure.
We wanted to see that open. The top of the roof open to allow daylight to enter, to allow free ventilation, also to relieve air pressure as the train enters and leaves the tunnel.
CTA also needed a guarantee the project could be done without disrupting service.
They were very cautious about how they were going to factor this against the stringent expectations for service that the city has for them.
We were able to provide a window for them to work at night when the Green Line trains weren't running.
So we were building from midnight to 5 a.m. for 2 odd years. And then and only then could we build the building that slides underneath the train tracks.
The end result is a city block-long tube with regularly spaced steel arches on top and a reinforced concrete bottom. The trains are little more than background noise inside the center, where students study, socialize, and even operate a radio station.
Sound can only travel in one direction, so if it's traveling out the top of the tube, it's going to go up to the heavens.
A series of support columns holds the structure in place.
The black painted steel columns hold up the roof of the building. The exposed concrete gray square columns hold up the train track. And then there are these diagonal pylons, they're called in the trade, which are painted black, and they're massive. And that's what's holding up the tube.
The tube itself is a must-see for architectural buffs from around the world.
I think it's become a definer for Chicago. Certainly in architecture circles, people are highly interested in what we put here on campus. And we get busloads of 50 people rolling out unannounced coming to look at the tube. People have written books about it. I don't know if it's been in a movie yet, but I bet it will be.
You can see the tube for yourself. The campus center is open to the public until 7 p.m. daily. Contact IIT for information on guided and audio tours. The next phase of the Revive Wacker Drive project is in full swing. 13 CTA bus routes are affected by construction. Here's what CTA customers need to know. For 80 years, Wacker Drive has moved traffic through, around, and under Chicago's central business district. Now it's time to revive Wacker Drive, and construction is underway along the stretch between Randolph and Washington.
13 of CTA's bus routes that operate on or near Wacker Drive will be impacted. Of these, 10 routes will be rerouted around construction and street closures, and all 13 will have bus stop changes.
The project involves simultaneous construction on both Upper and Lower Wacker.
Both Upper and Lower Wacker Drive will be affected by this, so if you were riding a bus on Lower Wacker, you can expect to catch that above ground for the duration of these reroutes.
CTA and the Chicago Department of Transportation work together on a reroute strategy.
We've met on a regular basis with CDOT traffic staff, CTA planning staff to develop routes that really minimize the impact on CTA customers.
CTA bus routes that operate on or near Wacker Drive have undergone service changes. Franklin is now a two-way street for this phase of the project. CTA made sure customers weren't caught by surprise.
We started getting customer information specialists on the street to start distributing information to customers well in advance, approximately 3 weeks from when the reroute started. Additionally, we have onboard announcements on the bus to notify customers.
Information was also relayed through email alerts to registered customers and via the Bus Tracker service alert feature.
Bus Tracker users may notice that the estimated arrival times for some stops in the affected areas may not be accurately reflected on the website when the reroutes first go into effect. We ask for their patience. However, estimated arrival times at locations outside of this area will not be impacted.
The CTA website has the latest updates on reroutes for this phase and future phases.
In 2011, we'll be redoing Randolph to Monroe, 2012 Monroe down to Commerce Parkway. With each phase of the project, there will be new reroutes for CTA buses. We'll have all that information posted clearly on the Wacker Drive website and, of course, through all of CTA's communications channels.
63,000 vehicles use Wacker Drive on an average day. As that traffic is channeled around construction, delays are inevitable. Allow extra time for travel through the area.
The thing to keep in mind is with any construction project, people are going to be inconvenienced, and so certainly we ask for patience and understanding as we go through this process and try to do the best that we can.
On a project of this scale, the construction schedule is fluid, and CTA will periodically have to make route and bus stop changes. Customers should frequently check the CTA website for the latest updates.
Time to go back in time with Backtracks, a look at Chicago's colorful public transit history. The most profound change in public transit in Chicago came in the early 1890s with the construction of an elevated line to the south side. Here, workers got a steel beam for the 35th Street station. Bowlers served as hard hats for that time. A harbinger of changes to come was advertised on the front of this cable car, being readied for service outside the car barn on Cottage Grove at 38th. In the early 1900s, horses moved cars in and around the barn. Chicago's first motor buses entered service in 1917. They were open-top double-deckers, like the ones shown here, heading downtown on Sheridan Road. A new level of comfort greeted streetcar passengers in 1929, with a Surface Lines purchase of 100 single-ended cars with leather bucket seats for 60 passengers. Passengers entered the front of the so-called sedan cars, but didn't pay their fares until they passed a conductor on their way out the back exit. This car was among a group of streetcars from J.G. Brill of Philadelphia that were called muzzleloaders in the 1930s. Riders had to board and alight at the front of the car where the conductor stood right behind the motorman to collect fares. It may have been rush hour, but this line of streetcars heading downtown on Milwaukee near Erie wasn't going anywhere fast in 1947. There were no expressways to accommodate the traffic at the time. That's it for this episode of Backtracks. Now, back to the present.
Do you remember when you got your Chicago card or Chicago Card Plus? Well, if it was in 2007, it will expire soon. Now is the time to check the status of your card.
More than 150,000 Chicago cards are set to expire in 2011. For Chicago Card Plus, that number is more than 50,000. Is your card one of them? Check now so you can renew before the card expires.
Customers with registered cards will be notified by the CTA through email or through postcards. And the unregistered customers will have to check the expiration date by themselves.
There are 4 ways to check your card's expiration. Go online to chicago-card.com/cc. Use one of the passenger information units located in most CTA rail stations. Renew in person at the CTA Sales Center at 567 West Lake, or call 1-888-YOUR-CTA.
The easiest way would be to go directly on the website. We have a very interactive web-based program that allows the customer to go right online and place an order for the cards online.
It's important to remember, only registered cards can have a balance transferred. You can register the card online or call CTA to register, but you need to do it before the expiration date.
If you are a registered customer, you have the ability of having the remaining balance on the card being transferred to the new card. But CTA has no way of reimbursing the customers whose cards are not registered.
One more thing to keep in mind. If you are a Chicago card holder, you can register your card online, but you can't transfer a balance online. That needs to be done in person at the CTA Sales Center, in which case you'll get the new card right away.
We can do a replacement for you now.
Or you can call 1-888-YOUR-CTA and get a new card in the mail.
Let's see what's available for you. One moment, please.
If you order the card online or you call the customer service, You will receive the card within 5 to 7 business days through mail.
And those of you who don't have a Chicago card or a Chicago Card Plus yet, what are you waiting for? Learn for yourself what 700,000 CTA customers already know. It's the easiest and most cost-efficient way to take the CTA.
You just tap the card as you go. The fare and the balance is already there. You don't have to worry about if you have coins or bills or anything. It's just a great convenience for those that ride the CTA.
Remember, a bus ride using any CTA fare card is 25 cents cheaper than paying in cash. Winters in Chicago can be a bear, but that doesn't mean that you have to act like one. Don't let the cold weather send you into hibernation. Take the CTA and take advantage of all the Chicago area has to offer during this season of snow.
Whether you enjoy gliding or sliding, plan on riding the CTA to your favorite winter activity.
It's a very active time for Chicagoans who really want to get out and enjoy our weather and the various activities.
Enjoy this weather? Absolutely. CTA buses and trains drop you within feet of many of the area's favorite attractions, like the Millennium Park Ice Rink and the museum campus. Sure, you have to dress a little different if you head to the museum campus now, but the same CTA buses that kept you cool in the heat of summer will keep you warm in the chill of winter.
Yeah, that's a very inviting part of it. Yeah, we enjoy that. Our buses are clean. They're safe, and they're consistent. We think our customers appreciate that.
These customers did.
I didn't have to clear the windows. I got in, it was clean. I had a seat. I'm happy. So it was a good time.
The Pierce family took the number 151 bus to Lincoln Park Zoo. The zoo is open year-round and admission is free. There's also free fun at the Dan Ryan Woods at 87th and Western. Buses along both 87th Street and Western Avenue drop sled enthusiasts right outside the sled hills. And the 52A bus is a few steps from the Yukich Fields Ice Rink at 92nd and Kedzie. 7 CTA bus lines serve Navy Pier and its many attractions, including the Chicago Children's Museum.
CTA is a great way to get to the Children's Museum. It is the way that most of our staff get here. You can spend hours and hours here. There are things to climb on, and there's art activities, ways to stretch your imagination as well as your body as you're moving from floor to floor among the 12 different exhibits we have. So a great place to burn off winter energy for sure.
The Green Line is the option for folks who want to take a break from the cold and chill out among the lush greenery at the Garfield Park Conservatory on the west side. The bottom line? The CTA keeps moving during the winter, and so can you.
We're still very active and our ridership is very, very high. Chicagoans enjoy all 4 seasons and we provide service all year long.
CTA is the second largest transit agency in the country. Do you have any idea how many rides the CTA provides each day? How many rides a day does the CTA provide?
5,000?
Thousands, man.
Thousands?
Thousands, yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
50,000.
50,000.
Say 30, 40,000 maybe.
That's a good guess. Guess a little higher.
The higher? I would say then 70, maybe 80, maybe double that.
I have no idea.
Good guess.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands?
Yeah.
All right, that's a good answer.
I think somewhere up there.
150,000.
Higher.
Higher?
Higher.
500,000?
Double that.
$1 million.
City, it's actually 1.6 million a day.
Per day?
Per day.
Oh, that's amazing, man. I didn't know that.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
1.6 million rides on the average weekday. That sure is a lot. Here are some other impressive numbers. In 2010, combined bus and rail ridership totaled nearly 517 million rides. That surpassed CTA's predictions by more than 5 million. Over the past 10 years, the CTA has seen overall ridership grow by more than 37 million rides. So, thanks a million for riding the CTA.
It takes a lot of manpower and technological know-how to provide reliable service to CTA customers day in and day out. Let's take a look at one of the key mechanical components of the rail system, the train junctions, also called interlockings.
A lone tower sits above a busy intersection of tracks. This is Tower 18 at the junction of Lake and Wells. The people in this tower control the complex flow of trains through Chicago's loop.
In the rush hours, we can see trains as often as every 30 to 45 seconds going through the junction here. And it's considered to be one of the busiest railroad junctions in the United States. So we take a lot of pride in that.
5 of the CTA's 8 lines converge here: pink, green, purple, orange, and brown. Tower operators determine which trains go on which tracks and when. Tower 18 was completely rebuilt as part of the Loop Signal project.
The steel, the track that the trains run on, was not new, but everything else, machines that throw the switches are new. The signals that allow the operator to proceed are brand new. They're using a new technology, an LED technology.
This is a control room next to Tower 18. It is the electronic nerve center of the junction.
And we have over 100 equipment racks in this room, each with a lot of control devices that allow decisions to be made automatically as to whether a train can proceed through the junction or not.
A control panel, almost identical to one in the tower itself, supplements the panel inside the tower.
The red lines indicate that we actually have a train at this position, actually coming across the Lake Street Bridge toward the junction, down Lake Street. The white lines indicate that he has a route clear ahead of him. The route is locked so that no other train can try to proceed across or converge into him. And the train will now proceed through the junction. As the red lights progress, the train is actually moving through the junction.
Tower operators also rely on what they see from their windows and what cameras relay to their monitors. This is the Clark Tower. This junction is less busy than the interlockings overseen by Tower 18, but it's still busy.
I use the monitors to see what's coming. I look at the panel to see what's coming. Sometimes I look out the window to look at the marker lights. There are colored lights on the train that let you know what destination the train has.
We have the red line, the purple line during the rush, and the brown line trains, north and southbound. Electronically, I'm switching the tracks. I'm moving trains from one track to the other.
Down track 1 en route to Midway.
Tower's 10-4.
Tower operators work as train operators before training for tower duty.
He has to know where the train is going and which route to give him and this and that. So he has to know all the rules and everything that an operator will have to know.
And tower operators also have to climb multiple sets of stairs each day.
It's good exercise.
But there are no complaints here.
This is one of the best jobs at the company. I love my job. I do. I really love my job.
The dedication of tower operators, combined with electronic and infrastructure upgrades at critical junctions, ensures safe and reliable travel along the CTA rail system, a system that delivers more than 200 million rides a year.
The upgrades to the train control system were done at night and on weekends to minimize customer inconvenience. As usual, we've given you a lot of information in today's show. Do you want even more information? Here's how to get it.
The CTA's website is always a good option for information on trip planning, schedules, fare card options, and much more. It's all on www.transitchicago.com. And while on the website, check out the App Center for the latest mobile and web applications designed to enhance your CTA travel experience. Many downloads are free. And did you miss a portion of this show? Or maybe you want to watch it again or share it with friends? Individual Connections episodes are available on the CTA Connections YouTube channel. Again, just go to the CTA site and click on the links for Connections.
Finally, keep the calls coming to our Connections hotline. Your CTA travel tips and story ideas are always welcome and could be featured in our show. The number to call is 312-681-2812. That's it for this show. Thanks for watching. I'm Omar Barragan, and I'll see you next time on Connections.